at a pretty good clip.
The flooding.
We are following what has been a very dangerous night in central parts of Oklahoma, and most recently a confirmed large and dangerous tornado in the town of Shawnee, home to about 30,000 people. Got an ongoing tornado warning for Pottawatomie County until 10:15, a considerable threat tag along with this tornado warning here. We're still seeing a very strong circulation, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado moving north at 25 miles per hour. And so they're in the velocity data, and there's a brand new tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service. This is for Lincoln and Pottawatomie, including Johnson and Meeker. And this is again a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado near Shawnee. And going back to the velocity data, we're seeing a very strong circulation now showing up here right in there. This is the area of winds that's coming towards the radar, moving away from the radar. And another thing that we can do, I can circle that. We can see if there's some debris that is showing up right now. There is some debris that is still showing up. So that is a tornado that is crossing Interstate 40 right now. And let's also go to the regular reflectivity mode as well. So you can see it right there. That is the tornado. And these things have been doing this over and over again tonight, starting out moving east and then turning left and moving more to the north. So we've seen a lot of that deviant motion. So this is coming towards Adalot and towards Meeker as well. We've got some live pictures right now from near the Shawnee area. Chasers have been out on these storms, and ordinarily you'd think it would be incredibly dangerous to chase tornadoes at night. I would say so, generally speaking, but there's been so much lightning with these storms that it does at least give you some sense of what you're looking at here. And this chaser has been on this storm for quite some time now. Looks like he's starting to come up to some emergency vehicles. Hopefully we're not going to see anything too serious here, but I fear that there has been some damage. We did see debris showing up, particularly on the west and northwest side of the Shawnee area. Very large, very strong circulation coming up and across Shawnee. And again, this is a town that is home to about 32,000 people. And, I'm not sure what we're coming up on here, Todd. It looks like maybe maybe we're up to the point where we've got some debris here. That's usually, or maybe some trees across the road. That's also possible too.
About multiple 2-inch trees and tree branches down. So that's probably what we are seeing there too. But what's so scary about these tornadoes we've seen throughout the course of today is that they're somewhat the erratic nature of their forward movement. That it's not necessarily it may be moving northeast at one time at 20 miles an hour, but then 20 minutes later, it may be moving off to the north or off to the east. So this is something that even as chasers, it's also very dangerous.
They've been wrapping around, these circulations have been wrapping around the larger parent circulation of the supercell. And so, a lot of times they started out moving east and then turned more to the northeast and then turned to the north. We actually saw a tornado and we saw the debris, and that one wrapped to the northwest.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And which is, you really got to be on your toes in a situation like that, because you're sort of conditioned to thinking of tornadoes as moving northeast.
Absolutely.
Not coming from the southeast.
And when when you're talking about tracking in your head, you're thinking as a meteorologist and as someone who's tracking it, you're thinking, all right, this thing's moving east. I'm in a safe position. I may be off to the south of that. And then all of a sudden, if it does end up changing direction, that puts you on the wrong road. All of a sudden, you're now not in the right spot. But then again, you can see the power lines down. You can see the semi truck there, and then with the flashing light, you can see a little bit of the power lines right in front of the semi truck there. So that's probably why you're seeing the stop traffic at the moment. So, all right. So we have another tracker that we may be going to on this, and might take a little second for that. But again, the ongoing tornado warnings. Again, Carl, it's just been such a busy day here in Colorado. There we go.
Yeah, so we're getting into the Shawnee area, and looks like we're starting to see some damage. Not surprising at all.
There. Yep.
You know, we watched an incredibly powerful and large circulation moving right up into Shawnee. Then it did start to move a little left, and so I think it probably had more of an impact on the west side of Shawnee than the east side of Shawnee. But that would have taken it right across the Kickapoo Casino area, perhaps, maybe the Heart of Oklahoma Exposition Center, the airport, the Oklahoma Baptist University. Those could have been the areas that were more directly affected by the storm than maybe even up towards the Blackhawk Casino as well. But so I do think it was more of the northwest side of Shawnee that was affected by the storm. And, you know, again, we saw this over and over again tonight where tornadoes were initially moving east and then kind of wrapping into the larger circulation associated with these massive supercell storms. So wrapping up towards the northeast and eventually towards the north as well. And here you see, looks like we're getting into some of the damage there in Shawnee.
Yeah, you can get that. And just for reference, Tornado Watch does continue for these areas, at least the rest of this hour, so until the top of the hour. But you can see at least some, I know the headlights are in the way there, but you can see they're probably obviously moving around. Some leaves on the ground there. There is a little bit of debris on either side. Looks like something, Carl, right there, straight ahead.
Let's go back to the radar real quick because I want to show folks that we've got this storm coming towards the Meeker area right now. We are still now seeing an exceptionally strong circulation, and it is moving. Now it appears almost due north. So it might slide to the west of Meeker, but it is going to be really close. So heads up there in Meeker. Very, very strong circulation headed your way. Welcome back. We are now following what is still a very dangerous storm in parts of Oklahoma. Lincoln and Pottawatomie counties under warning right now. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. Look at the circulation on this thing. Very strong rotation now showing up just to the west of Route 18. That is coming towards Meeker and moving to the north right now. Brand new tornado warning has just come out. Confirmed large, extremely dangerous tornado moving north at 25 miles per hour. And this is going to come up towards the Meeker area. I'm going to move a little farther to the south here, and so we can see where this is going to be headed. And circling this, let's see what's going on the correlation coefficient. And I'm almost sure we've got some debris. Yeah, we do have some debris showing up right there. And this extremely strong circulation, which is now basically moving to the north. So it's coming up right along 18, and I think is going to pass maybe just to the west of Meeker, but it's going to be really, really close, coming towards the Clifton area as that moves north. So if you're anywhere near that Clifton and Route 62, the intersection of 18 and 62, so west on 62, basically Route 62 between 18 and 177, you need to get to your safe place right now. Got a brand new scan. Let's move this forward just a little bit and see what's going on now. Still an exceptionally strong circulation showing up there. Again, coming towards Clifton right now. Circling it one more time. Let's see if there's debris. I'm not seeing any debris right now, but still seeing a really strong rotation there. And you can see how it's just firmly wrapped in rain. So, you know, anywhere along this area west of Route 18, coming up towards Meeker, coming towards Clifton, if you're in any of those spots, then please get to your safe place right now. This is an extremely dangerous storm. We just did have some damage showing up in Shawnee in Oklahoma, and it continues to be a really serious storm lifting now off to the north. I do want to show you some of the reports that we've had already today. These storms have had the character of moving to the east and then kind of turning to the north. In fact, we followed this one storm that produced tornadoes through here, through the pink area, and actually wrapped a tornado back to the northwest Pretty amazing. I'm surprised we haven't seen a report on that yet because we definitely saw some debris. Ongoing tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight for the central part of Oklahoma. It's also been busy farther north up into Kansas and into Iowa. Todd's got more on that for us now.
Yeah, it's amazing how this entire day really started off with a big hail maker, and then all of a sudden it is gotten much worse than that. So for now, things are starting to look a little bit quieter in Kansas and Iowa and Nebraska and parts of Missouri, but that was not the case earlier. In fact, we had some earlier tornado warnings that were out there. They were allowed to expire, but 2 active severe thunderstorm warnings impacting at least some bigger cities about to. Here we are in Douglas and Jefferson counties in Kansas. Severe thunderstorm warning until 10:45, so about another half hour from now. And you can see Lawrence is definitely heading in your direction. The one thing that this has been showing, it has been showing quite a lot of a very large hail that has been pushing in your direction. You see the biggest of which end up falling just between Williamsport and Ridgeway, but you still have the possibility of seeing some very large hail, upwards of about 1.5 inches, maybe even larger than that. You can see some of the estimations here about 1.5 inches, maybe upwards of 2-inch size hail. So certainly want to be careful there in Lawrence with that severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect. And well, the impact another major college town here in Kansas over into Manhattan, Kansas, Potawatomi and Riley counties. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect as well. Now this one had some hail reports a little bit farther back to the south and west. You can see that. Look at that, about 1 3/4 inches, approaching maybe 2-inch size hail. So that is another reason why the severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. So really both Lawrence and Manhattan, Kansas are at least looking at the possibility for some very large hail heading your direction. Moving farther off to the north, not seeing as many severe thunderstorm warnings as we did earlier, but a new severe thunderstorm warning did pop up to the north of Des Moines. So we have the one that is in effect for at least another 14 minutes from now for Boone, Dallas, and Polk County. The main hail core of that is actually to the north of that, but that severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. But just want to show you some of the hail tracks. So we at least have about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches a size hail heading in your direction. Just off to the north, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. Now this one's for Marshall, Polk, and Story counties in Iowa. Now notice this, though, we do have a tornado possible tag that has come on in this, so I will at least go back and go to velocity mode and see if we can see a little bit of that rotation here for, yeah, you get a little one right there. So you had a somewhat, it is a little bit tough near the radar site there, but it is just off to the north and east. So a lot of times when you have that rotation, we get a little closer here. So there was right about here, there was a bit of rotation that had spawned the at least the tornado possible tag that came out of this. So I wanted to at least track that out for you. Elman, Iowa at 10:23, almost on top of you 5 minutes from now. Huxley at 10:30, and Nevada at 10:53. So, Carl, this has been one of those days where it's just been really tough. Tornado watch remains in effect for this area to the top of the hour, so about another 40 minutes from now. So certainly need to take cover not only here in Iowa, but of course what's been happening down to the south into Oklahoma.
Well, welcome back. We have been following.
Lightning needs less than a second to display its lethal power.
Give me 100-mile-an-hour winds. Give me tornadoes off in the distance, even flooding to an extent. But lightning.
It's just generally been really, really busy across the central part of Oklahoma in particular. We've had many tornado warnings. We're not quite done yet, but we are seeing a downward trend in the activity. And so, a lot of times that's going to be the case, but for the most dynamic of situations, you'll see things beginning to taper off a little bit later in the day.
And we're certainly seeing that north, wherever off to the north, but severe thunderstorm warnings are in spots. But as far as the tornado warning, there's really one that's going on currently right now, and that is what is happening off to the west. So that is, that is one thing that we're going to have to keep our eye on. What's interesting, Carl, is we saw that tornado watch. It remains in effect until the top of the hour. So, this is what we're looking at, that ongoing tornado warning in Oklahoma.
So, you notice here what's happening with these cells in Oklahoma. Generally, the coverage is not as wide as it was, but we do have this one cell that has been remarkable. It's actually a couple of cells that merged. Ongoing tornado warning here for Lincoln and Potawatomi. As you look at this, you can see the circulation coming up right in there. You see that circulation, and you see how it has become, considerably less well formed now. So we're definitely seeing a downward trend. I am happy to report we may still be looking at some threat for a tornado west of Meeker, but you compare this to what we were looking at moments ago. I mean, right in there, that was almost certainly a tornado there west of Route 18, and now it is lifted up into the middle of the storm, and there does not appear to be nearly the same level of threat. But I want to show you how this evolved and follow this incredible supercell. So we're watching this circulation, and what's amazing about this, you start right here. We had this big tornado southwest of Norman. You go up in there, then watch a second cell comes in, and they merge basically right there. And then we got a tornado in Shawnee. So we had a tornado southwest of Norman. We had another report of tornado in Etowah, another one farther up to the north there. I'm not sure about Shawnee yet, but we've had damage there, so I'm pretty sure we're going to have a report from Shawnee. But you can see how the second cell comes in, and I'm going to go back and slow it down so we can see this evolution a little bit more slowly. So right in there, strong tornado in the Cole area, right there, southwest of Norman, firmly wrapped in rain. So we really, couldn't get a good look at it. Then another developing tornado east, right in this area, very strong. Look at that, another very strong rotation showing up there. At the same time, this cell was beginning to rotate west of Norman. We were watching this cell right in here, in the Norman area. And I want you to watch as that comes in going forward. Then we see them kind of merge. Those two cells are basically coming together at that point. And then it got very strong once again as it was coming into the Shawnee area. So you see the circulation right in there, and then got even stronger as it was moving away from Shawnee. So right there. And now in this most recent image is not nearly as well formed as it was. But so we've had at least 4 tornadoes tonight. I suspect it's been actually a good bit more than that, because we saw another tornado northwest of Pink, one that actually curved even farther left and moved northwest. We probably had a tornado in Shawnee. Wouldn't be surprised if we had one to the north here as well. So I suspect that the total numbers of tornadoes are actually going to be a good bit higher. And Todd, things looking a little better farther north now too. Yeah,
and that's a good thing, particularly into Kansas and Iowa. Still some ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings there. But with this, though, I'm starting to feel a little happy about how things are in terms of this. So that's what it looked like, at least in Carl's max. Now for mine, if we go to bigger perspective here, just a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings. All these are hail makers, but impacting some bigger cities. So Lawrence, Kansas, just on the tail end of this. Douglas and Jefferson counties in Kansas under severe thunderstorm warning. Hail's the main threat, seeing at least inch and a half size hail. Farther off to the east, that cell is now moving off to the east. So Leavenworth and Wyandotte counties, new severe thunderstorm warning just popped up to the top of the hour. Take cover with large hail coming your way. And we're going to break back in here one more time. New tornado warning in effect for Oklahoma. This is really the same area that has been hit hard for the last couple of hours. New tornado warning now in effect for Lincoln and Pottawatomie counties until 11:30, so about a good 47 minutes from now. And notice the very slow movement of this. It does look like we are seeing at least a possibility not only for a tornado, but it is radar indicated, but this thing is only moving off to the northeast at 10 miles an hour. You really get a better look at the velocity mode here, and I'm just going to go back a little bit here and notice how we start off with a broad rotation, and all of a sudden you get not one but really almost two distinct spins here. So you can see how it's really broken up here. So this is the main couplet there, but actually a little bit more of a broad rotation here, just south of Prague. If I'm saying that incorrectly, I apologize, but here we are in Oklahoma, so you can see Highway 377, really intersection of Highway 377 and Highway 62. These are where you really have two distinct type of rotations. But again, going back to the one that is just to the east of Johnson at the moment, you can see this. Let me get this. So I'm looking right here. That is the one. And then also somewhat of a broader rotation here. So I'm just going to keep those two on there and to show you how there's really not a lot of movement at all. Now, the one that's a little farther off to the east, it almost looked like it came out of the first rotation. That looks to be the one that seems to be holding a little bit longer. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up just really tracking both of these. So it is moving at 10 miles an hour, so I'm going to change the speed on this. So we have basically here moving off to the looks to be the north and east very slowly. So Payton at 11:26. But just know that Prague, and again, if I'm saying that incorrectly, I apologize. But it's basically just to the south of you, that broad rotation. And then the other one that really just broke off, this one right here, I mean, that one actually has almost more of a southeast or southwest look in terms of where it is moving. So I'm also looking at a bit of a rotation right down here as well. So Garden Grove, just know that you are very close to the possibility of being impacted by this as well, because what we've been seeing throughout the course of today is a lot of these storms, they'll be moving in a certain direction, and then all of a sudden they'll just be wrapping around the main complex itself. And so when you look at the base velocity mode, so I'm going to go back and show you this. I'm going to circle the one that's just south of Prague. So again, right here, this is what we are a little more broader rotation. I'm just going to get a broad circle of that. And then when we move over to our correlation coefficient and see if we have any debris that's showing up in that as well. And yeah, actually we're seeing a little bit more of a drop off there. Let me see if we can get a little better perspective. So maybe there could have been something there, but it looks like it's becoming much more broad. Either way, though, this is all part of the same line that has been, or the same little complex, really, that's been dropping tornadoes back toward Cole, Etowah, Pink, and Bethel Acres, and again, also toward Shawnee. Bigger perspective here shows the tornado watch. It remains in effect until the top of the hour, another 14 minutes. I would not be surprised if maybe locally that perhaps could be pushed a little bit farther or into the next hour. Something remains to be seen. But again, the bigger look here shows that the ongoing tornado warning here in Pottawatomie and also into Lincoln counties. One thing I want to show you, this is just what things have been looking like over the course of the day. So here's Oklahoma City. And I want to show you, we're going to start with this little cell right here to the southwest of Goldsby. And I'm going to play this forward. So this is going back to about 8 o'clock local time. And then we're just going to play this forward and show you the amount of circulation. So again, over toward Etowah, you can see that circulation to the west there. And then here we are into about just approaching 9 o'clock. You can see that tornado to the north of Etowah and to the southwest of Pink. And then it broadens out a little bit, and then all toward Pink. Notice how right about here things have broadened out a bit, and then before you know it, we end up seeing another circulation come back. And notice how the first circulation really helped push that second one over towards Shawnee. So this is the cell here that ended up impacting Shawnee just within the last hour or so. So that was about 9:54 local time, and now that continues to push off to the north. And notice that, boy, look at that couplet there between Shawnee and Meeker. That is, again, the tornado is on the ground, and now it's broadened out again. So really just going to loop that back again. You can see what has been happening throughout the course of today, where we have a circulation tornado on the ground. It broadens out a little bit, and then another one spawns, and then another one. And this has really been ongoing throughout the course of the day. And notice it really doesn't keep a direction, whether or not it's heading off to the north, or then it'll be heading off to the north and east. Right now, the current tornado warning remains in effect at least until 10:30 or 11:30 local time. So again, another 45 minutes or so, and that is the bigger perspective here. So the ongoing tornado watch remains in effect at least for Oklahoma, the I-35 corridor, really from the Red River all the way up to Oklahoma City, and also up through Tulsa area. And I also want to point out a little farther off to the north, we still have that tornado watch in effect for parts of Missouri and Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa. That is all until 11 o'clock local time. We do have some ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings here. Going to zoom in to two areas, one to the north and east. On the one that will be impacting this southern side of Des Moines. So Marion, Polk, and Warren County here in Iowa, we have ongoing severe thunderstorm warning. So large hail is going to be the main threat with this. So again, just be aware that this will be heading in your direction. 11:30 is the time here. Looking at some of the hail, it looks like the northern part of that's going to be more impacted, let's just say, as far as the larger hail goes. And then also down here, just outside the Kansas City metro area on the Kansas side for Leavenworth and Wyandotte counties. Severe thunderstorm warning till 11 o'clock.